Welcome to the Chamber Spotlight, a local talk show podcast brought to you by the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce in association with the local scene. We'll be recording on a regular basis and we'll cover many topics that span local businesses, local elections, local town governance, and a citizens' academy. I'm your host, Fraser Townley, and today is April the 27th. We're cracking on the year, aren't we? And I'm sat with School Superintendent Erin Obi. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Fraser.
Oh, you can speak. That's great. And her emotional support guest, Mary Beth Brust. Have I got that right?
You do.
Oh,
yes.
You're on. Okay, so Mary's joining us. That's terrific. So what I would like to do is first we're going to go to the town headlines. And then once we finish with Andrea Cesarini, we'll come back and we'll have a full conversation.
Perfect.
Today is April 27th, and I'm here with Andrea Cesarini with Town Headlines. How are you, Andrea? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I was just saying about 3 weeks since the listeners have heard my voice, so I'm very happy to be here. So some public news around town. So public meetings this week. Our planning board will be holding a meeting this Monday, April 27th. Our advisory committee, school committee, and select board will be holding a joint meeting this Tuesday, April 28th. The Pembroke Drug Prevention Coalition will be meeting Wednesday, April 29th. Meetings need to be scheduled within 48 hours, so check the section of the town website titled Agendas and Minutes and set the start and end date for the time periods you are interested in for the latest update. And a reminder that a majority of these meetings are broadcast on the local scene. Meetings can be rewatched on www.thelocalscene.media/Pembroke/. Some other news around town. Construction season is in full swing. West Elm Street and Dwelly Street construction is being performed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and is expected to be continued until August 2026. High Street construction is being performed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and is expected to be continued to May 2026. Oldham Street construction is being performed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and is expected to be continued until May 2026. And Center Street construction will be completed overnight from 7 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. and is expected to be continued until May of 2026. Please avoid these areas during those times. Water flushing has also begun for the season. Please check the news flash portion of the website for the updates on when flushing in your area will be done. The town clerk's office will be holding an informational session on town meeting this Thursday, April 30th at 1 p.m. at the community center to discuss what town meeting is, review terminology associated with town meeting, and discuss the specific warrant articles that we will vote on for the upcoming annual town meeting to be held May 12th at the high school. If you are unable to attend the informational session but have any questions, please contact the clerk's office at 781-293-7211 or email a.mcketrick@townofpembrokemass.org. Early voting for the May 16th town election will begin this Friday, May 1st, and continue until Wednesday, May 13th. Early voting is held during regular business hours of Town Hall in the conference room on the second floor of Town Hall. Voters may also request a ballot by mail until 5 p.m. on Monday, May 11th. Polls will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, May 16th. All precincts report to the community center for voting on Election Day. Real estate and personal property taxes are due Friday, May 1st at 12 p.m. Any payments received after 12 p.m. May 1st will be assessed a late fee. Bills can be paid at the collector's office at Town Hall, room 17, or online under the Pay Bills section on the town's website.
That's terrific. Thank you, Andrea. Quick question. So High Street, there's still construction until well into May, but I've just driven in it and it feels pretty finished.
I think there's another portion that they're doing by Forest Street. I'm not sure. That's what the website had on there. So if it's done, they may have completed it early. But they said that they're expected to go until May of 2026.
Maybe it's line painting.
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Andrea. See you next week. Welcome back. So, Erin, let's start with you. I would like to hear your background. There you go. Not
about
the schools.
Myself?
Yes, I want to know about you.
Sure. So this is my 16th year as the superintendent for Pembroke Public Schools. Before that, I worked in Boston Public Schools, and I was part of the kindergarten initiative when Mayor Menino talked about kindergarten for all. I helped roll out kindergarten across the city of Boston. Uh-huh. I have no degree in education. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and Spanish and a master's degree in business administration, which is an interesting path to get to
MBA.
education. Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
That's probably why you're managing so well?
I think there's been a couple of comments in the past about a school district run by an educator versus a business person. And I think a school is a great example of a multi-million-dollar business. And if the funds aren't there, then the business doesn't work so great. So we are fortunate in Pembroke that we have great financial management and we are plugging along, unlike some of our neighbors.
I actually think it shows. Now I understand.
Yep.
Yeah, educators educate. Good for you. And you were the voice of snow days for the longest time.
Never. So that's one myth
true.
in Pembroke. So
Were you not Erin Tinker?
Erin Tinker is her own person. No, I am not Erin
is that
Tinker.
right?
Yeah. Some people thought it was an alias or nope. Erin Tinker is.
There's a myth blown.
She is a woman in our office. She's our data manager. But before that, she was the secretary for the superintendent, which I think is how she got that role as the snow day caller. But that was before my time.
I feel stupid now.
No.
Because you sound very similar.
Yes.
On the phone. Well, at 5:30 in the morning.
Tinker time.
Yeah. Very good. Go on, Mary Beth. Step in. Let's hear your background.
Well, I've been in education a little bit longer than Erin. I started in 1995. I started in Duxbury, then moved to Norwell High School. And eventually when Pembroke opened its own high school, I went there as the department head of history. So I've worked in a couple of different capacities in the district since then.
So you're more than just emotional support.
Yeah. She does all the things I don't want to do.
You mean you didn't want to do this?
Well, I made her come with me.
Oh,
So I'll do it if you
okay.
do it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the schools. Let's look at the background. Not the background, sorry, the makeup of the schools. You are the superintendent of...
Yep, we have 5 schools in Pembroke.
go.
There is 3 elementary schools, Hobbamock, North Pembroke, and Bryantville. We have our beautiful middle school, Pembroke Community Middle School, and then Pembroke High School. We have about 2,400 students currently enrolled. We have our enrollment has ebbed and flowed since we've split from Silver Lake. We had a high at one time of a little over 3,600. But right now we are hovering right around 2,500 students.
And is that, when you say it's hovering, is it growing or declining?
It has been flat for the past couple of years, and by flat I mean either a plus or minus of 20 or so, but no growth or no major decline in the past 6 or 7 years.
Right, but what's on the horizon?
So
Because you know that as the kids grow up...
yeah, so we do take a
pass
look
through.
at birth rate
Yeah.
to help us predict our number of incoming kindergarten students that we're expecting at age 5. In addition to that, we take a look at the local census to see school-aged children in homes or children that are about to be school-aged. I think we're going to stay pretty flat for a little bit of time. I think the birth rate dipped a little bit during COVID. I think so for the next...
It went down? It didn't go up?
I don't think it went up. I think people were afraid. So it's a little,
okay.
it's pretty flat for right now. I think the interesting thing that you see in Pembroke when you look at enrollment trends is that a lot of families move to Pembroke with school-aged children.
Right.
So the birth rate for children like registered at town hall is slightly lower than the number of students that we see arrive for the first day of kindergarten. So I think that's a great testament to the fact that folks move to Pembroke for their schools. So though we do a little bit of enrollment forecasting, it's not an exact science because families are moving into town with school-aged children quite regularly.
Right. So 2,400 students roughly now. I'm going to ask you a question. It's not loaded, but it does have implications.
Oh, goodness.
What is the maximum capacity for the school?
So each building is a little bit different. Our high school is built to house about 1,000 students.
Okay.
We have just under 700 there right now. Our middle school can hold 650-ish students. There's just under 400 there now. And then 2 of our elementary schools are similar in size. North Pembroke and Bryantville are pretty similar and can hover around 600. Each is just over 400 for enrollment now. In Hobbamock, the building itself is slightly smaller. So the max capacity there is around 500, and they have, I think, 340 or 330, 340 right now. So I didn't do the math fast. I see you writing it down.
No, it's fine. That's great. So it means we're not at capacity.
Absolutely not. Nope.
And I have, so we in the chamber, we hear we don't have the resources to have an increase and growth. And I always say, well, wait a second. There is a cost for operating, and there's a fixed cost to operating the schools, and your fixed cost is for 1,000, 650, 600, 600, 500.
Sure.
But you're only getting funding for 700, 400, 400, 400, 340.
Right. We would love more kids.
Right.
Come to Pembroke. Enroll your kids.
Thank you. Okay. That's a public.
We have room.
That's a PSA out there. But it's so you are not concerned about increasing the amount of students, because all that's going to happen is you'll get more funding. Your overheads won't change.
Right. To your point, the overhead won't change. Heating the building, lighting, administrative costs, all of those things will stay the same. With a sharp jump in enrollment in any one building, we may have to add a teacher per grade level or something like that, depending upon how the students enroll, whether it's, 12 first graders all at the same time. We would look at probably increasing staffing. But if it's a handful of kids across the 7 grades in each building, that wouldn't be a problem at the elementary level. And
let's just reassure anyone who's listening, you have an MBA. You know how to manage these things.
Yes, I love math and I can manage this.
There you go. So if there's a sharp increase and you have to put in supplementary educators, you'll have the money to do it.
We have the money to do that. I think something interesting that we've been doing for the past several years, as we've seen some available space in our buildings due to a lower enrollment, is we've been renting a number of classrooms in our district to North River Collaborative. So we have 8 classrooms in the district that we rent out for a rental fee. So we're a revenue generating.
How dare you?
So we're making almost $100,000 in classroom rentals for space that would have just gone unused. We have some classrooms at Bryantville Elementary School and Pembroke Community Middle School, and North River has been in touch to rent a classroom or 2 at the high school for next year. So it's a partnership that we've been growing as we've seen our needs have lessened, but theirs have increased.
Very smart. What is you're renting it? You did say it. I didn't listen. Who are you renting it to?
North River Collaborative.
North River Collaborative. What are they doing?
So North River Collaborative is a school for students with special education needs.
Okay.
And so, they are a huge part of our community over at Bryantville. So they have almost a whole hallway of classrooms over there, and those students are integrated into our building. They come to our assemblies. You can see them if they're out at recess. It's a great opportunity, not just for us to get some rental revenue, but for our students to see differing members of our community and really interact and engage with them in a school setting.
And are they Pembroke residents, or
they're
are they from
not
out there?
So they can be from Pembroke. North River is a collaborative. The students generally come from some other South Shore towns, but they could be Pembroke students.
That's excellent. And the Pembroke students that are on IEPs and special needs and what have you, we're getting that revenue anyway.
Sure.
Is that right?
Yes. Well, so for students that are on...
And then you're doing an out of placement to the North River.
So for students that we have on individual education plans, so IEPs, they most often are housed within our buildings and receive services throughout their day, but we do have about 26 students that we outplace. And so those students are potentially in a collaborative like North River Collaborative, or in a little bit of a different setting like a learning prep or a landmark school, which has a little bit of differing...
we always talk about Riverview.
Instructional strategies for students. So
terrific. Now, is that on this is not on the question list here. Is that on the increase? I heard there's more and more people on IEPs than in the past, or is it just that you answer the question?
Sure. So our percentage of students on IEPs has increased slightly over the past 5 years since COVID. We are hovering right around the state percentage, which I think is 20 or 21%. We're just about there. We used to be about 17%, so we have seen an increase, but we are still right at the state average.
Right. And just so that the listeners are aware, IEP, individual
education
plan. But that's not the only plan, is there?
No, you can have a 504 plan, which is accommodations for students. They can have a 504 for a variety of reasons, whether it's a medical need or a diagnosis that doesn't require different instruction, just accommodations to access the regular instruction. There are students that have medical plans. So let's say you're skiing and you break your leg. It's a short-term situation for you, but we create a medical plan that includes use of the elevator, where you're going to go to the bathroom, those kind of things. So
and that would be a 405?
It can be a 504,
a 504,
or it can just be a completely separate medical plan.
I should actually know these things. But
then we have students across our district that are on behavior plans. So students that need some help regulating their behavior. We have, what else do we have, Mary Beth?
Yeah, come on, Mary Beth. Step up.
You're doing great. Keep going.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, emotional support.
Best.
There you go.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. That's those are the big ones.
Yeah. No, I bring that up. I didn't mean to steer off that, but that is another question that gets asked. So it's not increasing. There has been an uptick, but it's not like a major.
No. So our schools are structured in a way where we have ample support for students. We have some capacity within our learning centers or within our occupational therapists or speech therapists to absorb that. We haven't needed to add staff due to that uptick from 17 to 20% or so. We did last year, as part of the budget cycle, discuss adding a new program at Hobbenbach Elementary School, a behavioral program. That is both in response to the needs that we're seeing of our students, but at the same time also an opportunity for potentially tuitioning in students from other districts over time. So kind of revenue generating, cost avoidance all at the same time for
that's
us.
Very interesting. Good. And how are you promoting this? Because I haven't heard that before. So and I'm pretty involved in town.
It was part of our budget request for last year, and it was funded at the school committee level as well as at town meeting. We did freeze a bunch of positions going into this current school year because we were still actively in negotiations with all of our collective bargaining units. That's one of the positions that was frozen, so it hasn't been filled. It is posted, and we're looking to fill it for the next school year. Once we have the people in place, then we can start marketing the program to our families here in Pembroke where we think their students would be a good fit. And once you kind of have the program up and running, you can start having students from other districts come in and tour it and check it out and see if it's a good fit for them. So
that's really smart. It's like, I wouldn't say it's revenue generating, but you're dealing with the needs of the town and also dealing with the needs of the fiscal.
Right. Originally, it came to fruition out of cost avoidance, right? We have, 4 or 5 students that we could potentially see needing an outplacement at a social, emotional, behavioral setting in the future. And could we create that here? And once we create it here, is it possible for us to then create some revenue associated with it by bringing in students from local communities?
Very smart. And it's kind of moved nicely into the budget. So we've got the budget is now set for next year. Is that correct? Or it's about to be?
They said it at town meeting, right?
That's true, actually. Yeah. So it's not set, but it's as far as you're prepared. You're ready to present it.
I presented the administrative recommended budget the Tuesday before last week to the school committee. We will have our joint budget meeting with the select board and advisory tomorrow evening.
That's right.
And then on May 5th, we will have our public budget hearing in case there's anyone out there that still has questions and wants to come and ask them. We'll have that. And then the school committee will vote to move forward with that budget.
Mm-hmm. And you're discussing it tomorrow, so you don't want to discuss it now?
I'm happy to discuss some of it now. I did present it last week or a week and a half ago, so there's shouldn't be anything crazy out there.
So you are the biggest budget item in town?
Rightfully so.
Jolly good. 80 million, is that correct?
So the town budget's just about 85 million, and we're 41 million-ish of it.
Very good. Excellent. And how much has that increased over the last year-on-year increase?
So our increase from fiscal year 26 to what is proposed for fiscal year 27 is just over 800,000. 175 of that is an increase in Chapter 70 funding, so about 630,000 increase from the town revenue.
That seems like a remarkably manageable increase.
Yep, it's just over 2%.
Yeah, so it's not even the cost of living increase, is that right?
It's right.
Or it's sort of roundabout.
It's a roundabout inflation or so, right?
Yeah, so I can't accuse you of wasting money.
The only thing I do want to say out loud, and people ask all the time, the school department does not budget for its own benefits. So our health insurance benefits for our employees are not included in that $41 million. That's a shared cost with the town. That comes up a lot. So though our operating budget is just over $41 million, we are a share of that big health insurance number that Bill Chenard talks about.
I think it's about 12 million, is that right?
Yeah, so we're a good share of that too. So.
Yeah, but you've got a lot of employees. I get it. 345. Oh, is that right?
That is our number.
So you are the largest employer in town. Mm-hmm. Thank God you got an MBA.
We have some openings if anyone listening is looking for a career in education.
Oh, what's the most depressing one?
The most depressing one?
Pressing, not depressing. Good Lord.
We have a great need for full-time paraprofessionals at our elementary schools. So students that work almost like instructional aides in some of our special ed classrooms. We have a few positions that have been unfilled for the whole year, so it would be great to fill those. But for people that are not ready to commit to that, we would love anyone that's interested in being a substitute teacher. So anybody that's interested can reach out to Natalie Vandermolen, our HR manager, and we can get you up and subbing in a day or two. And then you make your own schedule. So, maybe you only want to work Monday and Thursday, or just only at the middle school. You can tailor it however you would like.
Mary Beth?
She's right.
You're doing a great job today, Mary
She's
Beth.
the best
You really are.
support
You are such a great support.
Yep. We work well together.
Don't you just? So I want to talk about, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about, but you've got a presentation there, the vocational
Yes.
education overview.
I bring it everywhere I go because this is the hot
That's
topic
your
in
emotional
town.
support.
This is
Yes.
it. I just always like to make sure, though, I have it committed mostly to memory. Just in case.
So it is a hot topic in town, and we are going to be voting on it. But do we know where we're at? So the way I understood it, and we did a vocational, we called it a workforce forum.
Right.
But we did that. You did a great presentation at that. At the time, we had to vote as a town on the previous ballot
Correct.
to join.
Correct.
Then the other towns had to vote to accept us joining.
Correct.
And then we have to vote as a town on the ballot to pay for it.
Correct.
Okay. Where are we at with that process? Have the neighboring towns voted to accept us?
So some of them have started. Those votes in the neighboring towns, the 9-member communities, are slated for their spring town meetings. So a couple of towns have already had their spring town meeting. A couple are in the next week or two. And I think there's one that falls just after ours.
Okay.
I think there are 2 or 3 communities that have voted so far, and they have voted favorably for us joining. All the conversations that Tom Hickey, the superintendent at South Shore Tech, has had with the member towns, he doesn't see any concerns. He thinks we're going to go 9 for 9.
I can't imagine there'd be what's the reason for not voting for it?
I think the only reason I could potentially think of is that first year, right? So we're looking for the vote to happen now. So our first group of students would go there for the fall of 2027,
Right.
at which time they'll still be in their old building.
So it'll be a little tight, but that's
It would
why
be
we've only
tight,
got...
and we're only having 10 seats that year, but that
Right.
means there's a community like Hanover might have 1 less seat that year.
Okay.
Until they move into the new building. So that would be the only potential downfall, but it's a very small window of time.
And I would imagine, knowing Tom, he's probably already socialized the idea.
Tom is an excellent salesperson.
Yeah.
And I think that the message to member communities is that this is an opportunity to bring in a community like Pembroke at a time while you're also reducing your debt share associated with this project that is moving forward, regardless of whether they admit Pembroke or not. So.
And so let's talk about the debt share. That appears to have dropped since the last time we spoke about it. It was going to be about $20 million, I believe.
Right. So they're right about $16 to $17 million based off of their estimates. They're not very far along in the actual construction process yet, but those numbers did come down from the original numbers that we were using the spring of last year when they were still in their MSBA funding stream.
So now, as I understand it correctly, last September, they were looking at the global cost of the new wing, dividing it by our share of the... So I think we were 11%.
We would be 10.17%.
So that's come down.
I think that Tom did just quick estimates so that we could have an idea. But
Right.
our actual share, according to the regional agreement, which is what the people in Pembroke voted on at this past fall town meeting,
Sure.
is 10.17%.
Okay, so 10.1, it still doesn't explain 20 down to 16.
That's the building cost. So they had building estimates of $175 million to just over $200 million. They have reined that in. I think they're at $186 million is what they're expecting the building cost to be.
Okay.
Minus the reimbursement that they get from
the
Massachusetts School Building Authority, which I think is about 43%. And then the remaining share is what we're responsible for 10.17% of.
Okay. So is it like an equity stake?
Yes.
So we would own 10-point-something% of
Correct.
that.
We own it. We have a seat at the table. There'd be a Pembroke resident or current school committee member sitting on the school committee for South Shore Tech.
And that would, I don't know if the school has a balance sheet, but that would go on the balance sheet as an asset.
Yes.
If we had a balance
If
sheet.
we did it like that, yes.
Yes. Okay. You got the MBA.
Yeah. We don't quite do it like that, but yes.
But I just want to be clear. We're not just throwing money out there. We're buying an asset.
Correct. We're buying into a regional school district.
Right. And I think that's critically important. The town will own an asset, albeit that asset is brick and mortar in a different town. It's in Hanover.
Correct. But we've shared a couple of times during some of the informational sessions that being a member town to South Shore Tech pays dividends to the community itself. So they're willing to embark on community beautification projects, partnering with Counseling on Aging for various programs with our senior citizens. The students that attend South Shore Tech, whether they're Pembroke students or students from local communities, come back and give back to the community in the form of free labor, free advice, all kinds of things.
Okay, but in fairness to what you just said, to make it clear for the residents, there's two costs here. The first cost is buying the brick and mortar, the asset on the balance sheet as an asset, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And then there's the operating cost.
So I think the first one's easier, right? When you're thinking about a building, you're like, okay, I understand. I'm going to pay $16.9 million for our share of that building. Right. The other one's a little bit more difficult when you're talking about the piece that's the operational override.
Sure.
So currently we are not sending any students to South Shore Tech. So when this is done in 5 years, we will have a full enrollment of about 84 students there. There is a cost associated with sending 84 students to a vocational school.
Sure.
That cost in today's dollars is just about $1.6 million, which is why we're asking for $2 million, because that cost will go up as we start to roll students through the building.
Okay. But do we get funds from state for having those students on our books?
So those students, we do right now.
Yep.
Once we are a member town and they're enrolled at South Shore Tech, those funds would follow those students. So the Chapter 70 dollars associated with those students would then be on the balance sheet for South Shore Tech as opposed to Pembroke. I think that's an interesting point that has just started to come up more recently is, aren't we already going to lose dollars for those students? Keeping in mind that we received just over $14 million in Chapter 70 aid, but we're spending $41 million as a town. Yep. So the Chapter 70 associated with any one student moving from Pembroke High School to South Shore Tech is just over $5,000. And that's been figured into the calculation as we're asking of what we're asking for at full rollout.
Okay. So the 1.6 operational override, when you were talking about the benefits of having VOTEC and the people coming back and helping us with various projects, that benefit comes out of that 1.6 that we're spending, in truth. Because we're paying for people to go to the school
and get skills that they're bringing back to the community.
Benefits coming back. Yes. Good. Okay. I think that's clear. What do you think is going to happen in the vote?
So I try to stay off Facebook as much as possible.
Oh, good Lord,
it's a scary place. It is very hard to find anybody that disagrees with the philosophy that having options for kids is a good thing. Mm-hmm. As somebody that has worked in education now for almost 24 years, students are successful when they are in a place that they have identified that they are going to be successful. Students that are applying for vocational opportunities are motivated students. That is what they see themselves doing in the future. It's unfortunate that, when we split from Silver Lake 22 years ago, that wasn't part of the conversation then, guaranteeing some sort of partnership there. Neither of us was here then. We clearly would have done things differently. But that didn't happen. And so what can we do now? Now that vocational interest is on the rise, post-COVID, we have so many students and families that are interested in that path. Understandably, we all saw some differences as we navigated the pandemic there. I really hope that there's more options for students. It is not the end of the world, right? We still have students at Pembroke High School that had originally been looking for a vocational opportunity. They're happy, they are successful, they are thriving. It's really about meeting each student where they are at. Mm-hmm. So it would be great to be offering a vocational opportunity for our students. But if we can't, we will continue to figure it out the way we have been so far.
Sure.
I would love for people to vote for it. I can't campaign one way or the other.
No, I understand that. What I will say is, and there was a very interesting article, I think it was one of the papers, and I'm actually not going to mention the paper because I don't want people saying, that's this, that, and the other. Anyway, I read a very interesting article, and it echoed what I said, I think it was yesterday at breakfast with my wife. there are students in university training to do something that job no longer exists. There are people at university who have not graduated learning how to be a computer coder, and that job does not exist. I just have to be clear. I'm in this business. AI is taking coding. It's taking graphic art. It's not. It will never take graphic art because that has a degree of artistic license attached. But if you have the idea and you know what you want it to look like, AI is going to do the heavy lifting for you.
I can't envision an AI plumber, though. So.
Precisely. Well, this is what I say. No AI can turn a wrench or spank a nail, is my mantra. You cannot replace... and we're not, I mean, I look at, it's not blue collar. I mean, there are mechanical engineers out there that cannot be replaced by AI. AI is just replacing the legal profession. It's replacing the accounting profession. It's replacing the coding profession. But it's not, it can't replace you guys.
Hopefully not. Jeez.
Well... I just don't think you learn by looking at a screen. I mean, yes, you do.
There's ways, right? But it can't be all of it.
You need mentorship, and that's what you guys are doing. And I think I remember, this is not my show, this is your show, but I do remember at the town meeting, there was a very interesting comment made by a member of the community. And they said that in 5 years' time, tradespeople will have retired. They'll have aged out. And at that point, if you need a plumber, if you can find a plumber that can come out, they're going to be charging you more per hour than we're asking the town to pay per year for the trade. And what a brilliant...
Right. I think there's a whole study out there. I think it's 40 by 2040, and 40% of the skilled labor force will be retiring by the year 2040. So if we're not building that pipeline of kids, including our Pembroke students, then it's going to be very difficult to find an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic, a carpenter, any of those skilled trades.
But if you do, they're going to be charging you more per hour than we're asking the residents for the year. And that's just taking the short-sightedness out of it. And I'm not suggesting anyone's being short-sighted. Of course, there are people that are going to say, well, I can't afford it. That's fine. Okay, let's look at a way that it can be affordable. But overall, we need to, anyway, I'm not
You're
here
preaching to the choir.
No, I know. Isn't that crazy? Come on, do what I say. Okay, so great. So we're well on the track there, but it's kind of out of our hands now. It's down to the town.
It's out of our hands. I think it is a decision that lies within the town, and I am just thankful that both the school committee and the select board recognize that this is a decision that should be made at the town level, and that neither one of those boards was making the decision for the town. So placing it on the ballot, getting the information out there, educating the public, and then people can make an informed decision that's right for them and their family. And to your point, it's a yes for some people and it's a no for other people. It's the maybes that we try to educate, because if we can make a maybe a yes, then we're moving in the right direction for our students.
Look, it's the whole purpose of what we're doing on the Chamber of Commerce with things like the podcast. It's not about convincing you to go one way or the other. It's making sure you have the data Correct. And you have the information to make the decision. It would just be chronic if you went to the ballot box and, what's all this about? And
right. I've not heard about this.
Exactly. And you vote the wrong way. It's not about you voting the right way for us, but you vote the wrong way because you're uninformed. So I'm glad. Is there anything that we need to be doing to get more information out there? Is there any more information that's needed?
We continue to update the FAQs on the Pembroke website. There's a tab for vocational if we see something that comes in. Again, I don't monitor Facebook that often, but I know my lovely friend Melissa Hooley is on Facebook and providing factual information whenever.
She's a scrapper.
She's good. Well, I would love her to come work for us whenever and wherever Melissa. She can. She is on top of it like within a minute, and she's doing an excellent job in the community. We definitely have done several information sessions, excuse me, across the past few months. We had Local Scene Tape, our last one, so it's up on the YouTube channel as well. Yeah. And we're happy to answer questions. If anyone has any questions, send us an email. Again, I don't necessarily monitor what's going back and forth on Facebook because it gets a little out of hand. But if you have a question and there's a piece of information you feel like is important for other people to know, send me an email. I'm happy to answer it, and then we'll add it to the FAQ so it's out there for everybody.
Cool. When do you have the time to answer these questions? I mean,
I work all night long.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that just rolls over and checks your email at 2 a.m. Oh, I can answer that. Let me get that done. I'm one of those people.
Yes. Well, you got an MBA. Of course, you're one of those people.
And I know that there's been some conversation about I don't live in Pembroke. I live as close to Pembroke as you possibly can. I live one street over. I am invested in this community. My friends' kids go to school here. My nieces go to school here. I want the best for these kids, and I'm invested in making sure that people have all of the necessary information so that they can make the correct decision for them for their families.
Mm-hmm. So, Mary Beth. You can't nod.
Yes.
The people can't see you nodding. Is Erin
No,
a
I agree with
workaholic?
Erin. She's always available and willing to answer questions, and that's the style that she wants for all of the educators in town. So I think that
Terrific.
People get answers right away if they're
brilliant. No, I don't disagree, and Erin has my full support. She has the Chamber's full support. I've got a subject here that it's turning into a bit of a hot topic. You can't read that upside down.
I can't read your writing upside down.
Really? It says MIAA.
Oh,
What's
Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. I love acronyms, yes.
Yeah, but it's the source of a interboard, select board, and what's that all about?
Oh.
Or do you not want to talk? If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
I'm always happy to talk about anything that people want to ask. I have
seen... Okay, let me change it. What do you feel, is there anything frustrating about what's going on right now? Is there any misinformation that you want to clear up?
I just think what I've seen lately is that there was a proposed action on the side of the school committee and it didn't move forward. Mm-hmm. There's a form of governance there, and there's ways that things get voted and move forward, and sometimes things don't move forward. What I've seen most recently about other boards taking up topics that fall under the purview of the school committee, I think is an interesting approach that we haven't had here in town before. And, I'm not going to say whether I'm for or against other people talking cross-disciplinary about topics. It's just that I think that opens everything up. And so what's the purview of the school committee? What's the purview of select board? And, when we're discussing things at the school committee level, I think we often remind, myself included, remind the school committee members that you've hired professionals to do a job, and you have to give them the space to do that job. The town has elected 5 school committee members to weigh in on policy, procedures, curriculum for the schools. You've got to allow them the space to do the job that they were elected for, even if you don't necessarily agree with the outcome. And if it's something you don't agree with, then you have the opportunity to make a change as time goes on. But I think it's important that topics stay within the realms in which they are meant to be.
Great answer.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it's a great answer. And I particularly like the sense that you have a board that's been elected by the people. You have to let the process eke out. And if you don't like the answer, you know what to do at the ballot box.
Sure. And it's a topic that we've discussed several times. I know that it seems to be on the forefront right now, but for the past almost 2.5 years, we've been discussing the topic, the policies at MIAA, and how they relate to our students in Pembroke. What can we do at a local level? What can't we do at a local level? And the school committee has made changes to our athletic handbook. They've made changes to our procedures when it comes to forfeiting events. We've made additional improvements for student athlete safety. I feel like locally the school committee has really supported our students and our student athletes, including our female athletes. And I just feel like this topic in particular is one of those that it doesn't necessarily land locally. It's more of a state topic at the MIAA, and I know that they are discussing it as well.
Mm. It's getting a little uncomfortable. Let's move on.
Sure.
No, what I don't want to do is embarrass anybody or make it uncomfortable for anybody. and I'm not suggesting you are uncomfortable. But
I'm neither of those, embarrassed or uncomfortable.
No, but you've made that point and the case very clear, and I think that's exactly where it should land.
I agree.
And I think that's perfect. Okay, let's lighten it up, Mary Beth. The future. I think you pretty much talked about the future, actually. What's your vision, though, Erin? Mary Beth's not speaking.
Well, I think we are fortunate that we have just completed a strategic planning process at Pembroke Public Schools. So we now have an anchor document to lead us from 2026 to 2031. I think that what I envision happening in the next 5 years, it's hard to look past 5, is a move towards potentially grade span schools in our district. So a lot of communities around us have made that move in the past few years. And what grade span schools means is that all pre-K, K, and first graders are in one building, second, third, fourth, and so on. You're able to leverage your resources a little bit better like that. Having all first graders in one building, maybe you only need 7 teachers instead of 8 if they were spread across 3 buildings. I think we are going to continue to expand the pathways and the opportunities for our students at the secondary level. We have a pathways program at our high school that allows students to have some more hands-on job and career field experience before going off to college. It is not a substitute for vocational education.
No, and we work with Mary Ellen Gates on that.
But I think it's a great opportunity for kids and for families, to be able to take a couple of courses in biomedical sciences or engineering and decide whether you like it or not before you're going to spend thousands of dollars in college pursuing that field. I think it's a great asset.
Wasn't that called work experience when we were students?
I think so. I think my parents probably would have liked me to have tested a few things out in high school before they paid for me to go to college. But I think we'll continue to do that. And there are so many great things that are happening in our schools. We have such a tremendous arts program, both, vocal, music, band, digital arts, traditional arts, performing arts. We have an amazing program here in Pembroke, continuing to support that program. Looking to grow opportunities for our elementary students. We've talked a lot in the past couple of years about expanding world language to the elementary level and what does that look like for students. So I just really think continuing our philosophy of meeting every student where they're at, but figuring out the most efficient way to do that given kind of our structure, the makeup of our buildings, the needs of our students, and really trying to streamline some of that as we move into the next 5 years.
FAPE. Yep. Tell us what FAPE means.
No, you tell me, Fraser.
Well, it's a free
and appropriate public education.
Public education, yes. And that's what you're working to provide. But every student deserves that.
Every student should have that. Yes, they deserve more than that. But every student, that should be the minimum for every student.
Is it a state or a federal mandate?
I believe it's a federal mandate.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, but people need to know that.
And we offer so much more than just that. I think if you take a look at communities around us that are maybe considered wealthier or more affluent, the offerings that we have for our students here in Pembroke far surpass some of the offerings at local high schools. Even at, to be offering strings to our 5th and 6th graders is something that you don't see in the communities around us. I think that Pembroke does a really nice job with using the funds in a way that it has the most impact on our classrooms and on our students. And we're going to continue to do that.
Mm-hmm. Terrific. Mary Beth.
Yes.
Anything to add?
She's just so happy I made her come.
I'm very excited for all these changes. This is going to be great.
It does sound exciting, but we are a good 10 minutes over time. So
are you going to cut some of the things we said, Fraser?
I'm cutting nothing.
Okay, good.
I think everything you said, everyone has to listen to. Everyone has to hear it. No, again, it's all about educating. That's a bit corny, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You're an educator.
We're here as educators.
No, but we feel, we see, we sense everything that's going on. As the Chamber of Commerce, we need to grow the businesses and support the businesses. And there's 2 ways of supporting the business, and one of them is education. And so Peter Brown and the whole chamber, not just Peter Brown and myself, but the whole chamber, we've got some school committee members on the Chamber of Commerce. We do believe in supporting everything you do, and I think you do a fantastic job. You, Mary Beth, in particular. But no, I think it's amazing. But before we go, I do want to give you both an opportunity to say anything that you were expecting to have to say, but you didn't get to say, or you wanted to say and you haven't had a chance to say. I didn't ask the right question, or the subject didn't come up. Is there anything you want the residents to, or the listeners to go away with?
I think you did a nice job asking questions and covered a lot of topics. I think I would love the residents to come away from this understanding that we have a tremendous school system here in Pembroke. We have amazing educators working with our children day in and day out. And for those residents that don't necessarily have students in the school district, it is a tremendous asset to your property value to have a high achieving school system. And that is exactly what Pembroke Public Schools is.
Absolutely.
And I would just add...
Can you top that?
Well, no. But I will say that people often have questions. And if you have a question and you're not getting what you think is accurate information, please reach out to us. Somebody will get back to you. Could be Erin, could be me, but we take those questions seriously, and it dispels a lot of confusion when you have the right information.
Facebook is not where the right information...
Right.
Well,
that is not an approved communication channel for us.
There may be the right information there, but it's, as you say, it's not the approved communication channel.
We also, right on our website, have a tab that's called Titans Talk. So if you have a question and you're not sure who to send it to, there's a form. You can type it right in there and it routes it to the right person.
Okay.
I think you can pose the question anonymously. Obviously, it's difficult for us to respond to you directly if it's anonymous, but it's a place for you to offer feedback, offer suggestions, ask questions. It's right on the website, Titans Talk.
All the information you could ever need or require, you can get it if you ask the right question of the right people. Perfect. Okay, so I want to thank you, Erin, and I want to thank you, Mary Beth, for coming. But I also want to thank the listeners for tuning in. This podcast will be available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube with additional links on our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce. And if you're interested in becoming a member of the Chamber, please go to the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce website, pembrokechamber.org. Erin, Mary Beth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.